at that. But for the most part, at the end of the day, the algorithm is working. The algorithm is constantly going to keep distorting the frequency. So shout outs to the artists, because the artists are important. We need artists to put out great content, put out great work, put out output. Like, so listen to the song Hitman and Hit Boy and Nas. I said Hitman. Hit Boy and Nas, and Hit Boy got this one line where he was like, I'm focused on the outcome. I'm focused on the output and not the outcome, right? So, artists, like, just any artists out there, like, just focus on the output. What are you putting out into the world? Don't worry about the outcome, right? Worry about the outcome in its realistic form. In other words, and I'm saying this because working with people, we get into a dream state. We dream. But we know, especially if we do believe in a higher power, faith without work is dead. So after you pray, go work. Create. It's a law. You either create, build, or you destroy. Destroy sometimes comes from inactivity. When you don't move your body and you don't take care of it, you're destroying it. Our bodies is designed to move, right? It's designed to, we gotta get out, we gotta move our bodies. Even when we feel low, we gotta get up, we gotta go get some sunlight, we gotta stretch our legs. This is real practical information. This ain't nothing new. But let's correlate it to how it all ties into how they put in chips in your brain now and studying an electrical activity. And they may just be like, well, we'll fix depression, or we'll keep them in that state for a longer period of time, or we'll make the algorithm. You already programmed. The algorithm already, they don't need to put a chip in your brain. The algorithm is already a version. So they don't need to manually put anything into your brain. They already have an external version. But it just goes to show you how powerful our brains are. It is a very terrible thing to waste. And the body and the brain go hand in hand. When you don't move the body, the brain can't fire properly. If the brain can't fire properly, how can you connect to the higher source? How could you? When you're on a phone, right? My posture's terrible about why I'm saying this, but when you're on the phone like this for hours, right? It actually changes your cervical spine, it distorts your cervical spine, and puts excess pressure onto the disc. Now, your cervical spine is responsible for all of the major innervation of all of the major organs in your body, your heart, your lungs. People got breathing problems, people got heart problems. Your breathing is connected to your nervous system is connected to your emotions, frequency, brain waves, everything is connected. Connect the dots, right? So we hear, my chiropractor out in New York, Mr. G, he said, sitting is the new smoking. I'm like smoking right now. I'm sitting for a long period of time. It's going to be a long podcast. I hope, man, I got to chop this up, y'all. Yeah, I've been working. But the point is that you're distorting your frequency from a potential high, frequent, energetic, let me get out, let me go conquer the world, let me go innovate, let me go do something, let me go lock in, let me focus, let me polarity, right? Let me go create, let me go build, right? To stagnant. I said in the beginning of the episode, everything is emotion. So you're like, well, Cody, you're stagnant, I guess you're not in motion. Yeah, but you know what? We are working on different laws, right? For example, if I said earlier that if everything is in motion, but I can't see the atoms moving in the table, and the table looks still to me, it looks silent, right? That means that it is true that everything is in motion, but I can't see it. I can't interact with it. This is why, the things that we can't explain scientifically is always going to be a debate. It's always going to be something of interest, like aliens and ghosts and all this shit. But we can look under a microscope and under a really powerful microscope and see certain things that we're talking about in physics, right? This is, the quantum mechanics and quantum physics and all the stuff that's going on in the world right now. There's a lot of interesting stuff about that. But the point is this: your senses is what helps you interpret the world around you. So if we're operating on this physical plane, right? Here they have the mental plane, the spiritual plane, the physical plane. I'm now talking the metaphysics. When we look at the physical plane, we have the laws of motion, for example. So think of inertia, Newton's law, right? Inertia. If I roll a ball in motion stays in motion until something stops it. Gravity or an object or something, right? Well, think about our energy. Think about if for example, I said earlier, electroactivity in the brain produces a word, for example, so you can actually say that words have power, literally has a power source. If I say, oh, I think I'm gonna do this. The inertia of that. Let's just think about it practically. Like, let's not even thinking about it like in a spirit. Let's just think about it practically. If you think about doing something, that just simply means you're going to just think about it. You're not going to do it, right? Doing requires will. Will requires intention. Intention requires some level of I gotta stress. I gotta do this. You gotta stress it a little bit. You have to put yourself in some kind of condition, in some kind of state to go and do it. For example, there's this thing that I learned recently that I thought was amazing. And it's a concept that they use in machine learning algorithms, because there's multiple different types of machine learning algorithms. And there was this general concept that they go about, which is called explore and exploit. And exploit is interesting because I'm not going to go too crazy on the exploit. I have a lot of ways I could phrase this, but I think exploit just really means, hey, I'm going to give you all of the information, right? I'm going to give you, for example, ChatGPT. I'm going to just give it the internet. Study the internet, exploit the internet, and then now you can guess up any response to an input and give an output, right? That's how it works, right? It's going through very sophisticated neural networks and machine learning algorithms, and then it gives you. So this is exploit. We gave it the information. It knows what to do. It'll figure it out off of that information. We do that, right? We learn information. They learn about the brain, for example. And in the exploration, the explore world, they realize that what we learned about the brain is not entirely what we're seeing. We don't know everything about the ocean. We don't know everything about space. This is why I'm interested in it. I like science. So when you look at the brain and you're looking at, okay, we don't fully understand the brain. This exploit concept, the explorers are tapping into a different frame of thinking about how they see things, and they're sometimes debunking things that we tend to exploit. Right? People argue about, yo, that's facts. Give me facts. Everybody wants facts. Fact checking. Fact. Shut your fat ass. No, I don't want to think about. But shut your fat ass up, man. Everything is a fact. I need facts. You don't know what facts is. Most people don't know what facts is, right? Most people don't even know how to go about looking at what even makes research. People go, research says, but yeah, research says what? Like, what research have you done? Go into the world, interact with things, be practical about it too. Read, get the information, but also go apply it. Because now when you go apply information, you're exploring to see if it works. Don't exploit it. Don't just say, oh, like, anything that I'm on here saying, I applied it to some level in my life at one point. And I was like, oh shit, it worked. So I shared it because it at some point worked for me. So going back into the creatives, talking about this inertia law. Well, I have a thought. My thought turns into an action. My action turns into a circumstance. My circumstance turns into a cause. My cause turns into an effect. My effect turns it. You can see where I'm going to connect the dots. Man, I've been going down this path lately, and it's funny because there's a lot of other thinkers out there that, what if we're all on different frequencies, right? When I'm saying, I'm not even talking about frequent, like, obviously we are, because we don't get along in everything, in every capacity, in every situation. But what if the creatives, what if there's certain people that they just see the world, when you take white light, for example, and you put it through a prism, right? And then the 7 colors come out, but it all came from that one source of light, right? What if like that one source of light turned into many, like earlier we talked about perspectives and perceptions, just many interpretations, perspectives, and perceptions right? And it was just on a multiple. It was on a constant law. So when you look at creatives and they have these abilities to create things, they're communicating with something that's very different, that's verbal. Because let's talk about communication. Communication, language is man-made. Language is a man-made thing. Speech is something that our bodies produce, right? Movement, non-verbal, no sound, movement, movement. Movement is a language. They recently found, I was diving into some of this research, I've mentioned this before on other podcasts, they have seen that the plants, the trees, they communicate. We study whales, we look at things. These are fascinating things. They're now using machine learning to figure out all these things. But the interesting thing is that we've kind of always done this to some degree. We do it when we create things. We do it when people make poetry, people make art. We do it when you see athletes go beyond a certain point. We do it in every capacity because we're all tapped into something a little bit different than the other person. And we're always trying to figure out this harmony. We're all trying to all get on the same wavelength. That's why music is so interesting, right? Because music, I've seen people listen to music. I remember one time I was out here, I was playing, I'm in LA by the way. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm listening to Jay-Z and I'm listening to, what was I listening to? I was listening to, anyway, and Jay was like, just talking about Brooklyn. I'm blasting this shit. And I'm in the mall and this older white lady, she comes up to me and she goes like, what is that? And she's like yelling at me and I'm like, Jay-Z. Cause it's like, is she yelling at me because I'm playing the music loud? And she said, no, I like it. And then it threw me off because I was like, oh.